The temple of the Most High begins with the human body. You are the living sanctuary, crafted by the Creator's hand, and through your actions, your care, your love for this vessel, you honor the Most High.
They say Africans are always late. They call it African time with a smirk, a scoff, a stereotype. But what if I told you that what the world calls lateness is really a different way of seeing time itself? You see, in traditional African cultures, time wasn't something you measured by the ticking of a clock. It was something you felt observed, aligned with. We didn't live by rigid schedules or hourly deadlines. We live by rhythm, the rhythm of the sun, the seasons, the land, and the community. In many African societies, time was measured in events, not in hours. You'd hear someone say, "We'll meet when the cows come home," after the sun has passed that tree, when the moon is full, at the third crow of the rooster, when the shadow is shortest. That's not laziness. That's earth-connected intelligence. Time wasn't something to race against. It was something to move with. We understood that a gathering didn't begin when the minute hand struck a number. It began when the people were ready, when the energy was right, when the spirit of the occasion had arrived. To the Western eye, this might look like disorganization, but in truth, it was a completely different relationship with life itself. In African thought, the moment is sacred. If you're having a conversation with an elder, you don't rush it because of another appointment. You don't cut wisdom short to be on time. You stay present because presence is power. Even today, many rural African communities still tell time without a watch. The position of the sun, the behavior of animals, the feel of the air, the songs of birds, the alignment of shadows on the ground. This isn't primitive, it's profound. Western time is mechanical. African time is spiritual. One counts minutes, the other values moments. And so when we say African time, we're not just talking about when an event starts. We're talking about an entire worldview, one where life flows in cycles, not straight lines, where community takes precedence over efficiency, where the quality of connection outweighs the speed of completion.
Same thing happening in Africa, in Nigeria. I was just listening to Ibrahim Traore, and he was saying that people are there dying on hospital beds because of lack of, I think, medical equipment and medicine. So what we're facing here in Jamaica is nothing new. You know, I heard about some of the things that is happening there in America, and it's sort of similar. It's not that severe in this country, because these are some of the reasons why things the way they are. We here in the small island and black country, we have to start look out for our people, right things. Make sure that medical service is there for our people and things like that. Now, just to mention that, to get to where I need to get to, I was talking to a virgin this morning. Linda. Alright, so yeah, I got a phone call from a virgin this morning, Lindell. Hope I pronounced the name good, properly. And said he was watching my vlogs, my recent vlogs, and he heard about the situation with me.
You are the living sanctuary, crafted by the Creator's hand, and through your actions, your care, your love for this vessel, you honor the Most High.
The issue he raised an issue about King Selassy, saying King Selassy is not the Christ. And I want to speak on that a little bit. Not too much, because it's a very deep, complex situation. Lots of time people see me as a Rasta man and automatically that's what come to their mind. Oh, you think King Selassy is God, right? And all of this. Sometimes me no want to lubricate on the matter with people, understand? Because those issues is always a deep one. Always a deep one. Yeah? So the road look, it's what time it is now? It's 8 o'clock right now in the morning. So lots of people hurrying off to work and things like that. But lots of traffic out here. So I figure I would just deal with some of this matter. Because people must understand that we all are Christ, and we are Christ-like. Brethren, big up Rastafari. Yes, I. Yes, I. You see now, at all times, we, the Jamaican Rastaman, are always trying to align back ourselves with Africa under a great man and great God. A big affair. Because, bro, bless it. Lots of people don't want to see it like that, and they're saying, well, I'm gonna go through here, sir. No, the gate lock. So it's just one God. But no, there's many gods, blessed. We all are gods. The Bible in Revelation tell us about that. When the Most High say, alright, come on, and them call all the gods together. Right? I said, come on, let's reason. Instruct me about what's going on in your field. Right? So we all are gods. We all Christ-like. There's never no one God and there's never no one Christ, because He made us in His image and His likeness. And so we must understand and recognize these things and respect them when we see them in a person, in a man, as Ibrahim Traore. Many people right now is calling him God and Christ. And it's gonna get deeper and deeper. The world has been watching this man for a long time before the world start to comment and before the world start to input. Right now, he's getting so much support from America, the USA, and all over the world. President Obama also step out and show his support and make his comments. President Vladimir Putin, King Jong-un or King Young-jung from Korea, rise up now in support. Yes, King Selassy was great, but not as great as this man. Yes, King Selassy is good and he's a God, but not as this man. This man learned things from King Selassy, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all these great men. All these great men put together, and many more great men who they assassinated in Africa, made this man who he is and what he is, and they put it together and put knowledge upon knowledge. He's very fluent in language, literature, and words. He's very, very brave and confident. And he knows very well to stay away from speaking violent, because his intention is to transform his country, and transforming a country, you have to transform the people's mind. You got to bring the light and show the truth to black people, and they will start to do the rest, because they are the workman. He knows all of these things. So yes, King Selassy is a God in his own right. I am one too, you are one too, and our women are goddess. We all are deities, brethren and sisters. The insects and the animals have their own deities too. But we are driven away from the truth. But we will get back there. So if a person asks me, and they always do, when a Rastaman and I think King Selassy is a God, of course, he is a God. He's a fork in the middle of the road, pointing us on the way to go. This is the way to go. That is God-like. But when we're dealing with the Most High God, the highly creator, now we gotta put these things to it.
Is His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassy I, Emperor of Ethiopia. The Emperor is a direct descendant of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, and he rules over the oldest Christian nation in the world. During his reign of more than 30 years, he has been a strong advocate of collective security. His troops served with the United Nations in Korea and the Congo, and he has been in the forefront of the movement for African unity. The Emperor played a leading role in the recent conference of independent African states. The Emperor will speak in Amharic, which will be interpreted for us by Dr. Manasseh Haile. Now we'll have the first question from Clifton Daniels of the New York Times.
Your Imperial Majesty, last spring, you were the host in Addis Ababa to the conference that formed an Organization of African States. That conference took a very strong stand against the remnants, I would say, of colonialism in Africa. Then on Friday, in your address to the General Assembly of the United Nations, you said we Africans would fight if necessary. Does that mean that you think the United African States should use force to liberate the areas still under non-African control in Africa?
ያለፈው ባለፉት ጥቂት ወራቶች ውስጥ የአፍሪካ ዋኖች መሪዎች በአዲስ አበባ ተሰብስበው በማንኛውም ጋባዦች ነበሩ። ይሄ የአፍሪካ መንግስታት ስብሰባ ስለ ኮሎኒያሊዝም ጉዳይ ጠንካራ ሀሳብ አቅርቧል። ግርማዊነቱ ደግሞ ያለፈው ዓርብ ዕለት ከሰዓት በኋላ ከተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበር ጠቅላላ ጉባኤ ባቀረቡት ንግግር ውስጥ አስፈላጊ ከሆነ አፍሪካ ነፃነት ማውጣት ምናልባት በኃይል ጎዳና እንከተል ይሆናል ብሎ ተናግረዋል። አሁን አፍሪካን በእውነት ሙሉ ነፃ ለማድረግ ግርማዊነቱ በኃይል አስፈላጊ ነው ብለው ያምናሉ ወይ?
እንደምታውቁት ሰላም ዓለም ሁሉ የሚጥርበት ጉዳይ ነው። ይህ ሰላም እንዲጠፋ ይልቁንም ትንሾች መንግስቶች ከኛ ጀምሮ አይፈልጉም። የአፍሪካን አንድነት ግን በመልካም ተመስርቷል። ለዚህም ምሳሌ የምንወስደው ስለ አፍሪካ አንድነት የአሜሪካን ህዝብ ምሳሌ ነው። በዚህ አኳኋን አፍሪካን ነፃ እንለቅ ያሉትን መንግስቶች ለመዋጋት ሁለት አይነት መንገድ አለ። ምናልባት በሰላም ይፈጸማል፣ ግን መመከት ደግሞ እንዳለበት ታውቁታላችሁና የመዋጋት ትርጓሜው ሁለት ነው።
In answer to that question, I would say that, as you know, peace has been the objective of the entire mankind, and I may say particularly so of small countries today. We have and we are confident that we have laid down the foundation of the African unity at the recent conference that was held in May in our capital Addis Ababa. Now, for the purpose of bringing African unity, our United States represents a good example for us. Now, for this question of liberation of African countries by use of force is our fervent desire and wish that situations will not come to this desperate stage. But however, as I said yesterday, if there is no recourse for liberation of people under the yoke of imperialism, certainly that may be an alternative which African states would have to consider for the benefit of the continent of Africa.
In the meantime, sir, are the African states providing arms and other assistance to those forces that are fighting against existing regimes in Africa?
ግርማዊ ጃንሆይ ይሄ ከመሆኑ በፊት ግን ለነጻነታቸው በአፍሪካ ውስጥ በልዩ ልዩ ቦታ ለሚታገሉ ሰዎች የአፍሪካ ሀገሮች የጦር መሳሪያና ሌላውን መከላከያ ነገር ያቀብሏቸዋል ወይ?
መጨረሻውን ሰላም ከተፈለገ የጦር መሳሪያ ሀብት ወደ ሰላም እንዲዞር ዋና ምኞታችን ነው። ምናልባት ይህንን የሚደረግ እንደሆነ እኛ የሚያቀብሉት ሰዎች የሚሰጡት ሀሳብ ከነሱ ሊጠየቅ የሚገባ ነው። መቀበል ግን ማንም የሚጠላው የለም።
I would like to say that on the general question, I hope that all material, energy and resources that are wasted for the purposes of arms race would cease to be so and would be converted for the purpose of peaceful advancement of mankind. But insofar as passing on arms to freedom fighters throughout Africa, perhaps the best first people to ask are those that have been considered to have passed such arms. But insofar as the recipient, freedom country, freedom fighters are concerned, we understand their motives and it's legitimate.
Sir, as a great supporter of the United Nations, would you think that the United Nations might intervene in Africa and resolve this problem?
ማረጃን ሆይ የተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበርን ዋናው ደጋፊዎች ከሆኑ ታላላቅ ሰዎች ግርማዊነቱ አንዱ ናቸው። የአፍሪካ ፕሮብሌም እንደና ዘዴ ለማምጣት የተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበር በጉዳዩ በሙሉ የሚገባ ይመስሎታል ወይ?
የተባበሩት መንግስታት በጉዳዩ እንዲገባ በግድ ያስፈልጋል። የሚገባበት ምክንያት የተባበሩት መንግስት ሰላም እንዲጸና መሰረቱ በመሆኑ የተለያየ ሀሳብ እንዲኖርበት መጨረሻውን ዩናይትድ ኔሽን የሚገባበት ነገር ነው ብለን እናስባለን።
Yes, I believe it's imperative that the United Nations come into the picture for solving this important African problem. The reason being that the United Nations, by its own charter, is committed to the preservation of international peace and security, and since African situation is directly relevant to this important task of the United Nations, the United Nations must come in to solve it. There might be difference of opinion in the organization itself, but the resultant effect of the feeling of the United Nations is no doubt in my mind is to help African countries to achieve their independence, and also my desire and hope is in accordance to the statements I've just made.
We'll be back with Meet the Press and more questions for our guest. Our guest today is His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassy I, Emperor of Ethiopia.
If you understand what is going on and working diligently to fix it. Jamaica is rich also, you know. Lots of minerals and natural talent. Raw labor. No, there have to be an agreement with trade, because you're not gonna just pick out my elite people out of my country to come to your country and work for them. That is not gonna happen. And if it do happen, you're gonna have to do something significant in my country. Do something in my country, because if my people come to your land and work, you have to do something. If we were there, so now I want medical equipment. You are to replace these, you are to fix these, at least to some extent. Now you think about it. If KPH is unlocked enough for operating theater, can you consider what's going on across the region? We just get news the other day. The Jubilee Hospital, AC, is in perils too. So if KP is not an operating theater up and running, no, I know that a lot of our people have benefited from Babylon.
Beast in the ring, you got the data bird?
Hold on, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you guys later. Farewell, my people. Stay well, stay safe, and I will see you in the next vlog. Okay, do remember to share, subscribe, and like. Boom shot.